Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Peter Carter here from Pediatric Partners, and it is Friday, February 12th, here with today's installment of our Facebook Live presentation. I'm here to give you some tips and tools for life, whether it be pediatric related or health related or just general life COVID stuff that's going on. We are going to be talking today about cold. Newsflash, it's freezing outside, literally freezing, and negative temperatures coming this weekend. And so we are all dealing with that, plus being stuck inside with our families for a long, long time and lacking places to go to stay warm. Hello, folks that are on there. I love it. Thanks for reaching out and saying hi. Thanks for being here. And hopefully you'll gather some cool information from today. Surprise for the end of this. After this talk, I'm going to be doing another a little additive. I'm going to read The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. So you guys can share that with your kiddos later if you want to have Dr. Carter read them a story as one way to distract them and yourselves, perhaps. If you're like my house, anything that we can do that's fun and different. Hey, Lindsay, thanks for watching. And my wife just logged on with my kid, who's probably home from school today because of the cold weather. So all exciting things. I'm glad you all are here. So tune in later. It's going to be a separate post, I believe, where we're going to read The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. So kind of look as a close link to this video, or just check our Facebook and probably our Instagram as well. I have no idea about TikTok, so maybe on there. Dr. Stuppy is our master guru and all that stuff. So keep an eye out. Hi, Sanika. Thanks for watching. So again, if you're just joining us, newsflash, it's freezing outside and we're all trying to deal. And so today I'm just going to give you some tips that will kind of help keep you and your family healthy and well. And should there be any questions, post them at the bottom. I'm honestly terrible at looking at them as they come in, but I'll do my best to answer them if I do see them, and I'll respond to you guys a little bit later too. So I guess good news before we jump into the cold weather, I wanted to give a kind of cool update from the CDC as far as a COVID update. They mentioned, of course, as you all know, a lot of people are getting vaccinated. We're so happy to say that 100% of our doctors and nurse practitioners, our providers, have been vaccinated with both doses of either the Moderna or the Pfizer COVID vaccine. So hopefully that offers you guys some sort of, peace of mind, or, about whether you should get it or not. We all think it's pretty safe. It obviously mainly protects us, but there's some passive immunity to people that are around because we're less likely to get it or have any sort of bad reaction. So with that, the thing that the CDC just updated was the guidelines for those that are, hi Missy and Dana, thanks for joining us. The guidelines for the CDC say that if you have had your vaccination, and this one part I didn't verify, so we'll check the CDC's guidelines, but if you're probably within 2 weeks after getting the vaccine where your immunity is supposed to be kicked in, if you've been exposed to COVID-19 after that, hey Andrew, thanks for watching, then that exposure does not mean that you need to be quarantined for 14 days, as is currently the recommendation for those that are exposed. So a nice extra bonus just for life, if you're vaccinated and exposed, currently according to CDC's guidelines, you do not need to quarantine for those 14 days if, the big if here, is if you remained asymptomatic. So you're not having runny nose, cough, congestion, fever, sore throat, shortness of breath, kind of those bigger side effects that come with COVID. So obviously, if you're having any side effects, you want to take caution and quarantine and talk to your physician, or talk to us if it's one of your kids. Hey Amber, thanks for watching. Ashley, Natalie, thanks for watching. Certainly reach out to us with questions or schedule a telehealth visit. We can kind of talk things through. But a lot of that stuff, some of those guidelines are posted on our Facebook and on our website. So always keep going there for updates. Cool. So there are the updates, I guess, the small update from the CDC. I guess it's kind of a big update for people's lives. So I wanted to share that with you. One kind of cool fact, I was curious just myself, how long does it take to cause frostbite when it's 0 degrees outside? And it all kind of depends on the wind chill a little bit, but a trusty source, the Farmer's Almanac, told me that within 30 minutes, you can create frostbite on an exposed digit or limb. Hey Jessica, thanks for watching, and Tara, thanks for watching. the take home there is to just be cautious about being outside right now with you, your friends, your pets, honestly, as well. There's lots of COVID babies in the form of COVID puppies and things like that in the world. I've heard from my patients lots of fun stories and pictures of their pets, and also from some staff around here that have gotten new dogs and puppies and taken them for walks. So be cautious with all those choices as you're going outside. But some general reminders for the cold, because again, newsflash, it's freezing. Layers are always going to be important for all of us. As we talk about those newborn visits here with my patients and some of those infant and toddler visits, whatever you're comfortable with, maybe add another layer for those little ones especially. That will help kind of keep them warm and doing well. Hey, Brian and Sandy and Kate, thanks for watching. I wish we could all talk together. It'd be even more fun to do that way. So layers are important. With that, I want to remind you that kids lose more body heat than adults. They lose it faster. They just have less fat, less muscle, and so they can that heat just dissipates. So keeping them layered and covered from head to toe, hats and body layers, and on the kids, mittens or some sort of gloves, booties for the little babies, or warm socks and warm shoes for the big kids, very important. So just keep that in mind. And with that, I wanted to remind you about some car seat safety. So we talk about this at most of our well child checks, like, hey, make sure your car seats are safe. And in the wintertime, we talk a lot about having the proper fitting clothing. You've hopefully heard from us. If you're just joining us or you haven't heard from your doctor, definitely not wearing a big thick winter coat or too many layers in the car seat. Those things can be actually damaging potentially to a family if there's a car accident, which in the winter months with snow and ice, there's more car accidents than the average. And so we want the child to kind of be strapped into the car seat with just a nice tight buckle. If you can pinch the straps and kind of make it bend up, it's too loose. You want about a good finger's width underneath those straps between your kids, so it's not smashing their chest, but you want it pretty tight. The idea behind that is if there's a car accident, you don't want them pushing backwards into and having all this give between the car seat and the straps. So we want them to be nice and safe. With that, please, on the little babies especially, I see this more than on the bigger kids, no additives underneath. Hey, Lacey, thanks for watching. No additives behind the babies or the kids in their car seats, because that's just adding like an extra layer, kind of as if you're putting another big thick winter coat, and that can make the head and spine more unstable should there be a car accident. So you can certainly use the covers that go over the car seats. You can use blankets to carry your toddlers or even your big kids, your elementary school age kids to the car. Your bigger kids can put them on themselves and walk out to the car if needed. Just kind of cover the children when you get to the car seat, and then kind of strap them in nice and tight, and then put maybe a blanket layer or their coat on top of them over the straps themselves, so they're very, very secure in there. Pablo, thanks for watching. Glad you're here. So that's great car seat safety and just general outdoor reminders as far as being safe in the car. Look at my notes here to see what else we need to talk about. Again, layers, the mittens, hats, gloves, all that kind of stuff. One cool thing you all have probably noticed is wearing a face mask for COVID protection is quite nice for warmth too. I noticed that sometimes, hey, this kind of takes the place of a scarf and keeps my face warmer than it would have been otherwise. So, hey, another positive of wearing masks. Hooray. I guess trying to find the bright side in all this kind of COVID craziness that we're dealing with. So keep wearing yours. One little small thing to talk about is that scarves, hood strings, things that come off of your coats or your jackets, those things could be potentially choking hazards for the little kids. Big kids have kind of, I don't know if they're being silly with it, but the little kids, make sure just to be careful with those items so they're not something that gets choked around their neck as a minivan car door automatically closes, or the kids are playing, they're wrestling like my kids do all the time, whether it be with me or just each other. So just be careful of those possibilities to stay safe. Sometimes to stay warm, fires are on. So this is another thing that we talk about. To be safe, watch out not only around your fire burning stoves. Sometimes people have stovetop things going on always. Your fireplace is inside. If it's warm enough, probably not right now, but as it warms up, sometimes people may gather on fire pits outside. But please, please, please just be careful, especially with the younger ones, that they are not toddling around or playing or wrestling or throwing balls and running and trying to catch them and falling into those fire or hot areas. So just talk about that kind of safety. Use gates if you need to. Just continue to look out for for that area of safety when kind of just navigating the day. Another kind of fun thing to think about randomly, I guess, is just trying to prevent nosebleeds. I get this question a lot in the winter months where the heater turns up really hot and there's less moisture in the air and there are more nosebleeds, and kids that have never had them, they don't have any family history of bleeding disorders or anything strange like that, but more nosebleeds can happen. Hi Danielle, thanks for watching. So for nosebleeds, certainly a cool mist humidifier can be helpful, kind of keeping that in the room in which you are sitting, or if your child is sleeping, kind of putting one next to their bedside, that can be helpful. Saline sprays to the nostrils, sometimes a Q-tip with just generally Vaseline or something like that can kind of really hydrate the inside of the nose where those nosebleeds generally come from. That's where there's a lot of vascularity. Those vessels are really superficial, kind of up to the edge, and you rub your nose a lot and then they just kind of get dry and cracked. So Vaseline, saline, hydration in general, just drinking lots of water, those things can be helpful to kind of help prevent nosebleeds in these winter months. A reminder when you play outside when it's not quite as cold as it is now, but if you're out sledding and things, to wear sunscreen because you can still get sun damage in the winter months due to the bright sun. A reminder, again, we talked about frostbite for those of you just joining us, that I was just curious. So I looked up in the Farmer's Almanac that at 0 degrees with certain wind chills, you can get frostbite up to 30 minutes for unexposed skin. So looking for signs of blisters or gray skin or numb or tingling or kind of painful skin, really pale skin that doesn't refill, like when you kind of touch the tip of your finger, the color takes a long time to come back, especially if it's starting to be more than 3 seconds. We kind of go, yikes, that's not good. Getting them inside, warming them up with warm water, not necessarily hot water, and expecting that to kind of improve should be the expectation. So if that's not happening, certainly call us and maybe even set up a visit if you need to, and we can decide if there's anything more that needs to be done. But sometimes just rewarming them slowly is going to be great. So Jenny and Carrie, thanks for joining. Glad you guys are here. So watch out for signs of frostbite, obviously keeping layers on your hands, toes, scarves around the face. Again, your COVID mask around your face, those things will be helpful to prevent that. And then if you ever suspect hypothermia from being outside, or a kid is just neurologically not there, they're not breathing right, they're kind of, I don't know, not mentally coherent, and you're kind of wondering what's going on, those things can be an emergency. So if you've been outside long enough, or your kid's out playing, and all of a sudden you're going, boy, I don't know what's going on, that can be a 911 call, honestly, to make sure that that child is properly rewarmed, and they can kind of look for other things that might need to be evaluated more urgently. So consider that. Kind of maybe one of my final just kind of tips for the winter time is just safe sleep for our little ones especially. And we preach this all year long. Summer, winter, doesn't matter, to be careful that babies don't have blankets and pillows and stuffed animals in their crib, especially before age 1. And so I just want to emphasize that again today, that even though our children may be cooler or cold when they're sleeping, to not give those loose items to them in their cribs or their beds. So just be sure that they are safe with several layers that are wrapped around. They've got all sorts of great kind of mummy type sleep sacks these days that are Velcroed, and you can put on different layers of onesies. You can put on the things for their toes or their hands to keep those digits warm. They will generally get kind of colder at nighttime, sometimes like yours and mine might, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a scary thing for them, but just make sure that you kind of keep them as warm as you can, and avoid the extra blankets that are loose and the extra anything that's loose. Also reminded that little baby hats are not necessary for maintaining their warmth at night. So we encourage you after kind of that first day of life or so to kind of remove that hat if you're also going to be falling asleep when the baby is going to sleep. So that's just the safest. A great place for tips on this and more, healthychildren.org. It's a site that is run by the American Academy of Pediatrics, and they've got some great tips on that. They've got great tips on some of the stuff like concerns about heavy metals in baby formulas that are pretty, I guess questions come up a lot this last week or so based on some publications that came out. We're not terribly worried about those things, so refer to that and our webpage for some more information on those things if you want to. But healthychildren.org is a great source. So other tips for being outside and cold, or staying inside, I guess, and remaining active. So stay inside, be active, be creative, have fun. If you're like me, we're all going kind of crazy with our little kids or the big kids for different reasons, just trying to figure out ways to keep us all entertained and not feel like it's Groundhog Day every day. So just be creative, get out there. YouTube on your TV has so many fun things these days, or things like Go Noodle. Have no financial connection to any of these people, but Go Noodle and the Cosmic Kids Yoga. There's Amazon has tons of free yoga type services, Pilates, anything you can do to kind of get up and move is awesome. Turn on music and dance with your family. Some of our most fun evenings are days when we have a dance party, disco ball and all, perhaps, whatever you can do to make it fun, do that. So take advantage of ways to be active with your family. Jumping jack challenges. Do things your kids have learned at PE class to be fun, just to be active. Create obstacle courses or race challenges in your family's basements to just get up and move. So that will be good for all of our mental health as well as our physical health. And it'll keep you warm. And it's cold outside and cold inside sometimes still. So that's all I have today as far as just tips for the cold. Stay warm, be well, and stay tuned. If you are just joining us, I mentioned that I'm gonna read The Snowy Day a little bit later by Ezra Jack Keats, just kind of a fun book about cold. So just in case, just remember to, I guess I brought this today because even though we just had our Super Bowl, it was not all that exciting. Next week, the Royals report to spring training, and I'm pretty pumped about that. So wear your gloves, wear your hats, and just stay warm and be active inside. And I hope you guys are all doing great. And reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns as I drop the phone a little bit here. And wish you all well. Take care. Bye.